Hello, today we will discuss about cell membrane, which is also known as plasma membrane. It is double layered and it is made up of lipids and proteins, different types of proteins, as well as sometimes it is like you can find some carbohydrates lying here and there. It basically separates the cytoplasm and it gives support to the cell. It is present in prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. We all know what is prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, as well as it is found in plants and animal cell. In plant cell, it is inside the cell wall, and in animal cell, it is the outermost boundary of the cell. So basically, we can discuss its detailed structure by a model which is known as fluid mosaic model, which is given by S.J. Singer and G.L. Nicholson. Basically, it is bilayered, double layered, which is also known as bilayered. By bilayered, we means it is two layers. So it is basically its chemical composition is phosphorus and lipids. Okay, so it has two ends. The yellow end, which you can see, is hydrophilic end. Hydro means water, philic means loving, so this is water loving end. Or you can say this end is basically hydrophilic region. You can also say this attracts water. And hydrophobic end is basically water heating end, and it basically repels water. As well as you can see different types of proteins here. These are integral proteins, these are glycoproteins, carbohydrate chains, which are all embedded in glycoproteins. We will discuss it in further go. So we can see two layers. These are lipid bilayers. Okay, so this end is basically hydrophobic end, and this end is basically hydrophilic end. The pink end is basically hydrophilic end. So now we will discuss the type of protein. These are channel proteins, which are also called transport proteins, transmembrane proteins, or transport proteins, or channel proteins. So basically they are hollow from inside and they allow certain particles to pass through them. And these surface proteins, which are outside the cell, but they are on the surface of these. You can see already this is a bilayer, and this surface protein which is lying on the bilayer, but from the outside of the cell. With the surface protein, there are certain carbohydrated chain which are like, you can say, flagella. They float in the external fluid. Now moving towards the globular proteins. Globular proteins are deeply embedded. We can see these are embedded in lipid phospholipid layer cell membrane. There are glycoproteins also present, which are made up of glycogen and proteins. So glycogen and proteins together they form glycoproteins. Okay, these are glycoproteins. These are not primary compounds, these are formed by two primary compounds, so these are secondary compounds or synthetic compounds. Here is glycolipid. Now let me clear you one thing, that cholesterol forms a layer of lipid. So when we study deeply the structure of lipid here, so this is basically cholesterol. These are single units of cholesterol formed in chain. Surface protein, they can be outside or inside of the cell. Integral proteins, these are solid proteins which are through the cell membrane, but they are not hollow. So the main difference between integral and this transport protein or channel protein or transmembrane protein is The transmembrane protein is basically hollow from inside, and the integral protein is solid as well. These and I already told you. Next thing is this intercellular and extracellular. You can see this is separated by cell membrane given by the phospholipid bilayer model, which is this is the most simplified diagram of a phospholipid bilayer given by fluid mosaic model without any proteins or anything else. Moving on to function, the cell membrane gives the structures and support to the cell. This is the first and the most important function, as well as it plays very crucial part in separating the cell from the cytoplasm from the outside of the cell. The second most crucial function of a cell membrane is it regulates the entrance and the exit of materials. It allows only certain materials, only certain substances to enter and to exit the cell. So you can say it is a guard, it is a wall which only allows certain people to enter the cell. Okay, the next thing which we will going to discuss in our next topic will be how does the transportation take place. It is of two types, active transport and passive transport. We will discuss both in the next topic. Till then, make sure to revise and go through all the topics.